Hey everybody, well here we go with a new video of my 40-gallon tank that is actually 1 year a Reef tank now. Was started off as a Fowler tank and is now a 1-year-old Reef tank. So as you can see, we're celebrating with new designed videos. Guess we'll call this video 1, huh? So some few new things in the tank, starting off with my Halloween hermit crab. He is very cool. It is nice to finally see my tank in HD because yes, I am actually shooting with a new video camera. So not only did I create a new video, but we're actually shooting with some decent equipment for once. Hopefully these blastos in my new videos now will actually look like blastos, and maybe we can see some of the color on some of these things. No, I have not upgraded my lights. This is still the same old cheap white and blue Beamswork LEDs. But as you can see, the tank is progressing nicely. You can see how much my bubblegum chalice does like it. I put him on this new little base rock and he is already growing all the way down and around it. My flytrap poly is back, opening up and all nice colored, and we're getting some new polyps on him. So I am excited about this tank for one reason or another. This tank just continues to work. I wish I could explain why this tank does so well and why everything inside this tank continues to grow, but it just does and continues to surprise me. So these little clover polyps popped out on the side of that live rock and just all on their own and just started growing. That live rock has been in here for quite a few months, and for whatever reason they just popped out and are growing. And down at the bottom, I'm not sure I'd be able to see it, there's some new ones starting up right down there, and along with them was a little mushroom. So interesting to see what comes out of live rock. I moved the bird's nest that was up here with the Pecatinia. I moved the bird's nest to the 75 so I could put the pulsating Exenia up there, because I do really enjoy them and wanted to make them a little bit more of a bigger feature of the tank. So I moved the Pecatinia down here, which is still a very cool coral. Just been a slow grower in this tank. Looks great, but has grown out very slowly. Then most recently took the rock that's got all of my plating corals and turned it around and kind of got it to fit in there, so the plating corals would grow towards the back of the tank because they were starting to shade these zoanthids that I've got growing right here, that you can actually, now that they're getting some light, you can kind of see what's all in here. And now that you can actually see a little bit better on my videos, I'm probably going to pop these blue tubs off of there and mount them someplace else, because that plating coral does want to continue to grow this direction, and the zoanthids seem to have their growth stumped by it. What was amazing, if you guys remember a while back, when I first redesigned the aquascape in here, I had broke a couple pieces off of this plating coral, and I stuck one of the small frags right there, and this dude is just non-stop growing, and I cannot believe how much that little shard has grown. He's just becoming a monster. My worry is now he's going to start shading the stuff that's down here, so I'm either going to sell him off or have to relocate him. I stuck the other little piece in the 75 and I've gotten nowhere near the amount of growth that I get out of these white Beamswork LEDs. Wish I could explain it, but the white light just seems to make these corals, some of them just respond very, very well to it. Others not so much, but for the most part in this tank the growth has been pretty exceptional. So it's nice to take a look at these corals in HD finally and give you guys a look at what my tank really does look like. I hope the colors will pop a little bit more in here now than they did before. But we'll see once I actually take a look at these things. The SPS that I do have in here, still doing well. I was kind of surprised that these SPS did survive in here, but they did. Haven't seen big growth out of them, but they are doing well. When I originally put this torch coral in, I lost one of the heads, and a new head is kind of growing over where that one had died, so that is encouraging also. As always, this guy continues to just grow. And the tentacles that come out of this thing at night are amazing. I will be picking up some new corals on Friday from Your Reef. If you guys weren't aware or weren't a part of it, Your Reef did another live sale on Reef to Reef on Saturday night. About 4.5 hours, I guess, was the total sale. And I ended up picking up a number of frags. I'm kind of wondering where I'm going to put all of them. But if you're still interested in seeing kind of what they had for sale and what's left, you can go to yourreef.com and look on the live sale. And there's about 11 different little icons you can click with all of the coral that was sold and what's still available. There was still a few items. I actually picked up a couple more today, so if you're interested, check it out. Hammer coral back there doing quite well. So right now I just seem to be in one of those periods where everything's kind of clicking for this tank, which is nice. Not something, as you guys know, in the reef hobby that always works out well. So I'm hoping it'll stay that way for a while. Well, I enjoy the fact that this tank was once a fowler and has made a transition to a reef tank quite well. I did lose several corals in the 75 that I transitioned from here, so hopefully I'll replace them. If anyone recalls the Jedi mind trick that I had that was growing so well in this tank, and I transitioned it to the 75, and that's when I didn't know much about lighting, and I pretty much burned all of them up in the 75. So now I've got the lighting down inside there and the corals are doing well. I'll show you guys an update of the 75 and all the new things that I did add to it and the progress that we're making on it. I did stock both these tanks with copepods, even though I'm not really seeing them. The 6-line wrasse was quite happy and has been quite full lately, so I think the 6-line is finding them, and you can see by looking at the belly on that thing, eating quite well. And one of those little starfish there. Always mixed thoughts about having these in your tank. Some people say they're coral eaters. Some people say there's different species of them, and some are coral eaters and some are not. I have not had an issue. When I see the population get too big, I do remove them, and the population seems to over time bounce back. Alright, one thing about this new camera is I don't have a timer on it. I don't see a timer on the display screen, so I'll need to make some adjustments maybe and get it to display. What I would like to do with this tank in an upcoming video is I will go over all of the equipment, which is, like I told you guys before, is not much. Hang on the back filter, a power head on this side, a hang on the back filter, and a power head on this side with the under gravel filters. But I'll go over it all, what I do to the hang on the back filters to get a little bit more usage out of them as far as filtration. I do not use them for biological filtration, purely just cleaning. So just media filtration. But I'll show you what I did and go over these lights again and my maintenance schedule for this tank. I do keep a pretty good maintenance schedule on both tanks, and I think that's probably the reason for the success. I am a regular water changer. I do believe in doing the water changes, and I do one every week. So I've only missed one in the last year, and I think when you do them weekly, if you miss, you're probably going to be okay. See, the leather in the back there is really extended out, and I've got lots of growth and extension out of it. Not all corals are, I'd love to tell you everything's great in here, but it's probably not. I did a while back probably put kind of overdosed the tank, and this guy has never really responded. He was on a heavy growth spurt for a while, and he's just kind of staying how he is now. So I think I put too much calcium in the tank. This was a few months back. I'd probably gone a little overboard with the calcium. This frag right here kind of suffered for it. Started seeing no growth and a loss of color. They seem to be making a comeback over the last few months color-wise, but there is really no growth out of them yet. But everything else has continued to grow well. Those couple of extra that I stuck in there, Blastos, I stuck, like I said, there was probably 2 or 3 heads that I'd shoved in that little hole, and now they're just growing like crazy down inside there. So alright, I hope you guys like the new video. I'm not sure myself how it's going to turn out until I download it to the computer and put it all together. I hope it turns out well. I want to thank all you guys that do watch my videos and leave me comments. I really appreciate the comments. It means a lot to me to hear what you guys think about my tank and way I could do things better, or things you see inside the tank. And there are so many of you to thank that I probably will do that in an upcoming video. Just watched a video from Mang, 915 Mang, and I thought the way he did the scrolling shoutouts along the bottom of his new video were really impressive. That was really cool. So maybe I can copy and do something like that, or figure out a nice way to mention everybody, the few subscribers that I have. But I do appreciate you guys. Let's go check out the 75 and put together a new video. Okay guys, so here we are at the 75, and you can see some of the changes that we made to the sump. I just took some of the rubble live rock that I had that I removed from the 40 when I re-aquascaped it, threw in some Chaeto and a little divider that I kind of made from when the 40 was a Fowler tank and I needed a divider for a while. And then I put some copepods in here. So I'm hoping it all takes. We'll wait and see. I leave the light on about 12 hours, usually about 6:30 at night to 6:30 in the morning is when I leave the this light on. I have an additional light in here when I'm doing any cleaning. Kind of brightens the whole thing up for me so I can see. Hopefully you guys can hear how quiet it is. So all I did to make it quiet was wrap that media filter around the outlet into my filter sock. Gives me a little bit better filtration, aerates that water really well, and makes it really quiet in here. So that helps out a lot. So that is the sump portion of the tank, and let's see what's going on inside the tank. So alright, as you see, I did pick up a pair of clownfish. They were selling them as baby clowns, and that was at All About Fish in Pleasant Hill. They had a tank full of baby clowns. I picked the largest two that were in there. Seem to be getting along very well. Mostly swim together, so I'm kind of surprised that right now they're not swimming together, but I'm hoping will be a nice pair. I have not tried to get them to host my anemone yet, which has never moved since I put him in the tank, which is really nice. I've been very fortunate that he has not moved around. He eats very well. I feed him mostly shrimp, store-bought shrimp, and he does quite well with it. Good pollock extension from the Garf Bonsai and other corals that I bought from Joseph Lee on eBay. Seem to be doing very well. Starting to see them growing onto the rocks now, making their way off of the frag plugs and onto the live rock, or growing down the frag plug. So that's making me very happy. Mounted this little chalice that I've been seeing lots of growth and really nice coloration from up on the rocks to get him up off of the sand bed. And a lot of the chalices are doing really well. That is a octopus coral, what he called it, kind of like a frog spawn, but seems to be a little bit different. I had actually never seen one before. He had it in gold and green, but I went with the gold. Or, I'm sorry, the green, obviously. But very cool coral. Opened up very quickly. It's what you guys saw in the bucket from my last delivery. This frog spawn is obviously really growing and spreading out and looking very well. Frags are really starting to cover down these plugs and growing, so let's hope that continues. Starting to see some growth out of this guy here, which is nice. Acans are all a little close there. Acans I set up over here, and they are all doing very well, as well as the hammer that I put in this tank, doing well. The Moons of Indoor that I picked up in the first live sale from your Reef. I thought I had killed him in here when I originally put him in. Oops, sorry about all that. But he is back, coloring up quite well, and I am very impressed with him. Dragon Fabia. I also thought I had killed this off. He's coloring up and looking quite nice now that I've got the lights turned down. Brain coral looking very good. And there's these two actually back together, which is nice. They do stay together quite a bit. Just hoping I can figure out how to get them to host that anemone. We'll see how that works out. I'm not really worried about it too much. Some of the new zoanthas that you guys saw in the bucket. And we have that one there, and the larger one right there. Alright guys, really happy with the way things are going right now. Like I said, I know that can change in a heartbeat, as I've watched from so many of you guys, from JD Reef and the Black Pearl to Solo Reef with some of the things that they've been going through, but I can't tell you how much I appreciate you guys documenting it and show us what it is you're going through, so the rest of us can hopefully learn from it and know that if reefers of your guys's caliber can go through it, any of us can. I mean, as I look at the system that those two guys have, I realize I am sitting at the kiddie table of reefing, but I hope to be at the adult table soon, and I hope you guys are there to have a conversation with. So when I hear you guys talk about getting frustrated and wanting to get out of the hobby, of course I'm going to encourage you not to, because you guys definitely lead the way for guys like me to improve. So keep making your videos, and I will keep trying to copy you guys and get better. Alright, thanks for watching.